What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for the weekly review wrap up Sunday morning, whatever you want to call it, show. A little news stuff, charts and graphs, highlighting on big price movements, just kind of random stuff from the previous week across all three major sports. Let's go ahead and dive in. A couple announcements off the bat. I mentioned this in the very tail end of Friday's video before we get into news here. The end of the week content schedule, not sure what it's going to look like, or next Sunday's weekly video might get pushed to Monday. The reason why, if you missed it at the tail end of that video, I will be attending New York City Comic Con this week, heading out Thursday through Sunday. I'll be coming home Sunday, most likely, maybe coming home Monday. Not sure yet, but I'm going to take my stuff with me. If I have time to record, I might, or I might just get like a little shorter version. Not 100% sure yet, but if content gets a little wonky towards the end of the week, that's why. And then I'll probably I may actually record some vlog style stuff at NYCC, just depending on how it goes. I'm going to bring the stuff with me. We will see how I am feeling. Not typically my thing. We'll see what happens. So NYCC at the end of the week. Tomorrow, normally on Monday, I've been doing the weekly non-sports card video update. That's going to get pushed to Tuesday. The reason why is because as I am recording this video on Saturday afternoon, gem rate data will be coming out for the month of September, and I will be recording that video for Monday. So Sunday video today. Monday will be gem rate data. Tuesday will be the weekly non-sports card / comic market update. That'll probably be a comic heavy episode because of the Wolverine Deadpool 3 announcement stuff. I also have a PSA bulk order coming back. I am hoping it gets delivered prior to me having to leave. So there might be a PSA reveal. I might be doing a Spider-Man Metal ROI wrap-up video. And I got a couple other things that are in the works. So I should have a full week of content, but if things are a little off schedule, that is why. We'll lead with the PSA bulk order into our first news bit. My PSA bulk order, the $18 one, national special that I sent in at the end of July, right before the national. It got checked in the PSA system right after the national. That is on its way back to me. As I'm speaking, it is making its way through the USPS network and on its way back to Ohio. 35 card order, half baseball, basically, with a little Darius Garland, and then a half Marvel. There was an entire Marvel insert set that I included in that order. So that is on its way back home to me. Ended up being about a 60-day turnaround time. I'll have to look at the exact dates. But they got it in early August, and I'm going to get it back in early October. That leads me into the first bit of news this week. Dropped the video mid-afternoon on Saturday. CSG is doing a little bit of a price decrease for the month of October. 20% off. Interesting to see that come into effect the same month PSA, or a couple weeks after PSA had their $22 price drop. We'll talk more about this stuff in the gem rate data video. I haven't seen those numbers yet. I got a little sneak peek of them, but I haven't dug into them yet. But I'm sure those will be enlightening in regards to price increases or decreases and specials and this, that, and the other thing that the grading companies are all running out there right now. The other elephant in the room is the Fanatics / Topps / Panini acquisition. This week is the industry summit. The rumor mill is churning hard that we are going to get an announcement perhaps as soon as Monday. It may even leak after this video has been recorded. Who knows? All signs point to it. I just don't know when it's going to actually be official. I think there's a decent chance that it comes out this week. I think there's a decent chance that it's still a couple weeks away. We will find out. I have next to zero when it comes to inside sources about this stuff. Just kind of reading the tea leaves in the room. It feels like this deal is all but done. It's just a matter of getting the formal announcement and how it shakes out. What are they actually acquiring? Is it Panini themselves? Is it the whole company? Is it just the American division? Is it just certain brands? That's the stuff we don't know yet. And, I'm not going to sit here and speculate on it because We're probably going to find out anywhere within the next 24 hours to 14 days. We'll see what ends up coming out from the industry summit this week. Any other announcements that might come up, I'll try to sneak videos in. Once again, anything that happens the back half of the week, any grading pricing changes, any big news alerts, I will be a little bit slower than normal on because I will be in New York City. If anyone has any pro restaurant tips for NYC, please drop them in the comments down below. Mostly looking for Italian. Any good Italian restaurants? Good chicken parm. If anyone knows a good chicken parm in the city, feel free to drop it down below. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into Market Movers, the new X version. Link in the description down below if you want to check out your own charts and graphs. Just $1 for the first 30 days and a bunch of different pricing tiers. Gonna lead off with baseball. Aaron Judge, Albert Pujols. At present time of recording, Judge is still sitting on 61 home runs. His card prices have obviously been one of the biggest winners of the entire season as he's just had a monster year. This is just his base refractor. Nothing crazy here. Very common card. Pop 800 on this. Going back to the beginning of April, this card's up 100% basically. Just clipping it under $500. It's kind of bounced around a little bit. This is when he first hit the home run. It's dropped back down, gone back up again. We will see if he ends up sneaking another one out before this thing's all said and done and can get to 62 or not, and if it causes another spike. If I had Judge stuff, I think this is your last chance to potentially sell at a peak window. This is a one-off season. Can you keep it going? Maybe. We're going to use Pujols as an example here. Pujols obviously did the 700 home run chase, and it's very interesting to pop over and look at his numbers. This is his tops traded, PSA 10. Only like pop 250 on this, and I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. You could see this chart. It goes up. Here is home run number 700. And then now look, we are already starting to tail off as we move throughout the end of September. Not the only one. This is his Bowman, 2001 Bowman PSA 10. Only pop 185 on this. What do we see? The exact same thing. Spikes way up because of all the hype around 700. 700 happens. And then slows down and kind of goes over and dips, coming back to reality already. One other one I want to look at, this is his tops traded Chrome. Pop about 400 on this one, and we see the same thing. Spikes up for 700 and immediately starts dipping back down again. Little curve back up here, but generally speaking, the exact same pattern across all three of those cards. And those aren't like, the population count's low, but they're more of his common cards. It's not like a rookie auto or anything crazy insert or anything numbered or anything like that. Keep that in mind if you're hanging on to fairly common Aaron Judge stuff. Base refractors, prisms, X fractors even, stuff like that. Just keep that in mind as we kind of move throughout this. If he ends up getting 62 this weekend, might be a good time to try to fire sale because you'll probably be able to buy it back cheaper in a couple of months, most likely. And if he doesn't hit it, it'll probably pull back even more. It's not going to crash, but it is definitely not going to hold the current values. One Judge card will absolutely spike. We may have even talked about this last week. This is his Bowman Chrome first auto, PSA 10. Only 48 of these on the population. One sold the other day on September 24th for $10,000. This was a $1,200 card 180 days ago, and it is now up to $10K. This sort of stuff gets a little bit trickier if you want to let it go or not, but I still feel like even this will have a little bit of pullback, even more so if he does not get 62 and just stays on 61. But probably a pullback coming for Judge. If Pujols is pulling back already, you could be damn sure Judge is going to do the same thing. We've seen this happen before. We will see this happen again. This is just what this stuff does. They're in the limelight for whatever reason. The cards spike. As soon as the light comes off of them, the zeitgeist is over. The prices begin to renormalize. Probably won't crash all the way back down to where they were before. It'll level out at a new floor. but they just cannot maintain those spike prices for very long. Let's talk football real quick. We did the week 3 wrap up. I'll continue to do those as long as there's interesting things to discuss. If there's not big price swings from the week of football, I'll probably just skip it. There probably won't be one this week, and I'll just wrap it into this video. We talked about Jalen Hurts a little bit this week, but his stuff continues to soar. We'll see what happens this week with his prices, but just looking down here, he is by far and away the biggest winner of the season so far. Silver Prism, this is going back 30 days, so just from the month of September. Silver Prism up 60%. Select Field Level Silver, included this one on the list, up 50%. Optic Hollow up 14%. The one that hasn't moved that I'm a little surprised about is the Mosaic Green. Kind of a cool looking card. I'm a sucker for color match. Anyone that knows me knows color match gets me every single time. But really nice looking card there. Very affordable. Only popped 700 on that. 110 bucks. One has not sold for a couple days, but I think I saw him listed for like 120, 130. I'm not saying run and go out and buy him, but if you're looking for a cheaper Hertz card, just to have one, not a bad option. It's a pretty cool looking card. Once again, I am a sucker for color match though. To his stuff, I'll be curious to see if it takes a hit. There really just hasn't been enough time to have enough auctions realized to see if his prices are going to fall after this very scary concussion on Thursday night. It appears he's going to be okay. I don't know how many weeks he's going to miss and how this will affect prices. If he's out for a long period of time, he's obviously going to get dipped down. If he's just out a week, he'll probably dip a little bit, but not too much. Very, very scary play. Very, very scary replay when they kept showing it over and over and over and over and over again. But not a great look for Tua. We'll see if he can bounce back. And that's why, in football especially, when these guys spike up like this, if you can take a little bit of profit, it's not a bad idea, because football is a very violent sport and you never know what is going to happen play to play, especially on these guys that have no real track record. And I'm including guys like Herbert and Burrow in there. They only have a couple seasons in the league. They don't have a long history of this stuff. It's not like there's a big floor built in like with a Tom Brady that if something goes wrong, you have a net to catch you. Not the case with these guys. Tua's had 2 concussions possibly within 5 days of each other. That's pretty scary stuff if you have a ton of his cards. So just kind of keep that in mind if you build positions on especially these younger quarterbacks. It doesn't take much for things to go sideways. Wanted to check in because we did not look at him on the week 3 wrap up. And honestly, I haven't checked in on his prices for a while. One Patrick Mahomes. I went back 60 days on this. This is his 2017 Silver Prism and his 2017 Optic Hollow, both in PSA 10. Both are basically dead flat. The Silver Prism has not moved at all, $4,200 to $4,200, and the Optic Hollow is up a whole 4.2%, a $76 swing. So little to no change in his prices at all. They have looked okay-ish. I am a little concerned about them. I'm still concerned about this price for the rest of the season. I don't know that team looks the same as it once did. They're playing okay. They're playing perfectly fine. But Mahomes' prices, I just don't know that perfectly fine is going to be enough to sustain. We'll see what happens this weekend as they kind of move throughout the season. But I just wanted to kind of touch in and glimpse at his stuff, because I honestly haven't looked at it for a couple weeks now. So I was just curious to see where he was sitting. Moving over to basketball. One of the big winners of the week, and really the only really big winner of the week. I was curious if the NBA market had started to pick up a little bit yet. And I should have mentioned this at the top, actually. I was at Card Collector 2 trade night on a Friday night. Most people were still looking for football. Now, that's in Columbus, Ohio. You get a very large Bengals population there. Pickups wise, I did not pick up anything. I did sell some low-end Marvel slabs, like under $50. And I did sell my Jose Ramirez Topps Dynasty Wahoo patch. The one with the mouth on it that I had picked up. I purchased that for $425 after shipping and everything. I sold it for $700 cash to actually a friend of mine that I got the co-signers Rice and Moss off of. I sold it to him. So that card is off to another good home and into his PC. We both win. He got a really cool card that he was excited about for his PC. I made a couple $100 on a card that was probably listed too cheap. and we all win. So no pickups, but I did walk out of there with about $800 in cash that I did not have beforehand. And I will take that probably to Comic-Con and see what we could do with that. I'm not necessarily going to New York City Comic-Con to buy just because of the logistics of hauling stuff around in New York City in a backpack after a Comic-Con does not seem great. But if I run into something, I won't hesitate to make a purchase on it. I will say attendance at Trade Night was good, but it was definitely lighter than has been in Trade Nights past. Now, I'm attributing that to a Friday night trade night during high school football season in Ohio you're going to lose some attendance because of high school football. High school football is very important in Ohio, not as crazy as like Texas, but it's a pretty big deal here. So when you have it on Friday night, I know of at least 3 or 4 people that could not attend because of Friday night football, and I'm sure there was a lot more. I believe he had said on the Card Talk pod this is the last one he's going to have through the winter because he likes doing them in the parking lot now. It is a nicer setup. There's way more space. Temperature was great. It was a nice, cool fall evening. It was like in the high 50s. Perfect setup for it. Like I said, decent crowd, but definitely smaller than previous ones I have attended. So that's the little report from CC2 Trade Night. Lots of deals were going down. People were definitely moving stuff back and forth between each other. Don't know how much cash was changing hands, but it did look like a decent amount of deals were going down. So I was looking at the basketball index. I was curious to see if that started to pick up steam with the season a couple weeks away, and it really hasn't. One of the only players to begin shifting up, and this just happened, once again, based off media day, Zion's definitely gotten a little bit of a bump. I ran this back 60 days to kind of get an idea post-national where his prices has been. About $1,600 at national, up to about $1,800 now, 16% increase. Media day photos came out. All the reports came out. Zion looks fantastic. Oh my God, Zion. Holy cow, Zion. Oh my goodness, Zion. So the hype is already beginning to build for Zion. Now we'll see what happens when the season actually starts. Can he stay healthy? How will he look? How will the team look? The whole 9 yards. That narrative will now spin up, and we will see what happens. His stuff could potentially get a little early season bump if he comes out like a man on fire. If he does not, if he gets hurt again, if something happens, look out. Scary town. But I do think he gets a little bit of a run now with that media day hype kind of giving him a little bit of a push. Other than that, the NBA preseason, we're about to get full preseason games pretty quick here. Basically, meh. No one seems to care right now, at least card price wise. Now, maybe the fact that it's just kind of staying flat is a win given outside circumstances. Stock market looks terrible. Crypto looks terrible. Pretty much everything looks terrible. Everything's crashing. Everything's going to zero. So maybe the fact that the NBA is just kind of meh is actually a win when you look at pricing graph. We'll wrap up on this. I was just a little curious to see how LeBron and KD's market has been holding up since the National. As there was the whole KD trade rumors, and then he ends up staying with the Nets. LeBron's going for the scoring title, this, that, and the other thing. So I kind of wanted to see how their prices have been doing. Once again, this is going back 60 days, so it puts us literally on like the last day of the National. This is LeBron's Topps Chrome PSA 10. Everyone knows this card. It is actually up slightly. At the National, it was going for about $7,100. Right now, it's at $8,500, a 20% increase. And I've been kind of seeing a little bit on the edges, people nipping at LeBron. People were looking for LeBron autos yesterday. Game used patches, just cool LeBron stuff was one of the things people were nosing around the edges on. Now that's pretty common for any Ohio trade night, but it did seem like there was some extra LeBron interest, or I heard his name bantied about a little more than normal. KD, on the other hand, this is his PSA 10 Topps Chrome. At the National, it was going for about $1,500. It is now down to $1,200, a 20% decrease. PSA 10 pop on this is just over 1,000. This card has just been absolutely hammered all summer. If I go back 180 days, that takes us back to April. This card was going for $2,200, still down to $1,200, a $1,000 decrease, almost 45% since the spring. KD stuff has definitely, of the superstar players, his stuff has taken one of the biggest hits. And that, good luck figuring out the Nets this year. I have no idea what that team's going to do. None. What does Ben Simmons look like? What does Kyrie look like? Does Katie, what does that look like? They're a fascinating team. They could be the NBA champions or they could be in the play-in again. Who the hell knows? So, more NBA talk probably once I get back from Comic-Con. So not this upcoming week, but the week after. I'd like to kind of do some deeper dives into NBA stuff and kind of nose around on prices and maybe some team predictions and whatnot. But we'll get into that post Comic-Con. That's all I have for you guys and girls today. Like, comment, subscribe. We will see you tomorrow for gem rate data, Tuesday for the non-sports card, weekly market update and comic book. And if Fanatics news happens, then, we'll do a video on that. We'll see if that comes out. That'll be not planned. That'll just be an emergency red alert video that we will fire out there. And there might be some follow-up videos to that. We'll just kind of see how the week spins out. Catch you guys and girls later. Peace.